Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I am here with the beautiful Jeanette Cieszykowski from Elemental Clarity, and she is a Feng Shui master, which is quite amazing because Feng Shui actually has a lot to do. We talk about law of attraction here all the time. So Feng Shui actually has a lot to do with law of attraction, and I'm not a pro at that. So I'm so happy to have someone that could explain this to us, explain how we could start manifesting with Feng Shui and what Feng Shui is. Because I know a lot of people when they think Feng Shui, they're like just Chinese men or women in their house, and just that's it. That's all that anyone knows about Feng Shui. But we can start adding this into our lives, start manifesting with Feng Shui, and start bringing this beautiful space around us into our homes and into everything that we do. So welcome, Jeanette. I'm so happy to have you here. So
Hello.
exciting. Welcome.
Thank you for
Let's
having
start
me.
off with who you are, what you do, and what Feng Shui is.
Yes, so my name, as you said, Jeanette Cieszykowski, but you said it correctly because fellow Polish woman. Yes, and I am too, but I was reading the beginning of your book and you actually can speak it. I can't, so I don't even say my last name properly, so I love that. Jeanette Cieszykowski, I am from Kansas City, Missouri. Well, Blue Springs, Missouri, close by. And I started with Feng Shui when I went to university. So I went to Kansas State University to get my master's in landscape architecture. And that's when I started reading about Feng Shui. And Feng Shui, the very, very original one, was called Forms Feng Shui, based on the land. So Feng Shui is literally translated wind, water. And the original Feng Shui looked at mountains and places to farm, places to bury ancestors, so that when your ancestors passed, you would get auspicious luck from them for those that were left behind. So it was very much about the geographical mountains, wind, water, oceans. Okay. So I learned about that learning landscape architecture, graduated, moved out to Dallas. So now I'm here in Dallas, Texas, and I came for a landscape architecture position. And very quickly, I realized sitting behind a desk all day was not for me. My coworkers would be like, Jeanette, you talk too much. Like, sit down, get your work done. And I started experiencing exactly what I help people with today, that bad feeling at work. I hate my job. I'm depressed. You lose your confidence. You start to get paranoid. You go into this weird negative spiral. That's very hard to get out of if you don't know what you want to do besides that career that you're in. So I was already using Feng Shui. So I Feng Shuied my apartment, and we'll explain in a minute how to do that. But I Feng Shuied my apartment, and I thought, okay, I need to meet the right people and figure out where to go. And I need to get paid to talk because everybody's telling me I talk too much. So I learned about sales at a very young age. And sure enough, I Feng Shuied some things. And after you Feng Shui, and when you manifest, you take action, right? You declare what you want. Same with Feng Shui. It's helpful to declare what you want, and then you take action. So everybody I met, I started thinking who do they know? How can they help me? And very quickly, I found a way into sales, which is difficult out here. You kind of have to wait for somebody to retire. So things really aligned, and the Feng Shui really helped. I Feng Shuied a little bit more, negotiated a 17% pay raise. So I know, loving it, awesome. Went in, killed it my first year. It was doing so good at this agency. And then after a year and a half goes by, I get that same dark feeling. And I'm like, God, this is frustrating. I don't want to be the woman that changes jobs every 2 years. And I love sales, but it's really, again, you have to wait for people to retire. It's hard to jump around. So I thought no, just keep going. And I didn't realize at the time that was my intuition telling me nope, there's something else. You are supposed to go. I thought I was kind of just complaining this time because I thought this is pretty, good enough. I'm doing well. But so the way that works, I Feng Shui updated a little bit more, and I got a call from a recruiter. They offered me another job, bigger and better, again, shortly after, because Feng Shui speeds up the process of all these things, right? So got another job, loved it, amazing. Told the CEO one day I'd be the CEO. I loved everything about it. I moved And Feng Shui is the study of how our environment affects us. So moving, I knew that this new place would affect my energy, and I knew something would happen, but I had just lost my father. I had just gotten out of a 4-year relationship. I loved my job. I was like, nothing else is going to change. Like, I'll probably just make more money, like everything's going to be good. But that was March 2020. So unbeknownst to all of us, that's when the, world went crazy, and I moved and got let go in April. So this job that I loved, my ego, and I was very good at my job. So this was very blindsided. Like, I was very blindsided by being let go. And my ego was bruised, but I thought, as we know in this world, life is happening for us, not to us. What am I supposed to learn from this? What is the universe trying to tell me? And I thought, you know what, this whole time I've been doing Feng Shui on the side for like 7 or 8 years now. It is time for me to be my own boss. So month goes by, all this new Feng Shui in this beautiful apartment. And here I am. Elemental Clarity is the name of my Feng Shui consulting business. And I love it. I love helping people feel better. So it's been
That
wonderful.
is beautiful. Congratulations on all of that. Yeah, I can't imagine like being somewhere that you completely love. Me personally, I was working in corporate America as well, but I hated it. Like, that was not for me. But I'm so glad that you were somewhere where you absolutely loved it. But that was so hard, like being able to, you just moved to a new place, like you were just let go. But I'm so glad that you were able to get past that and actually like Feng Shui your way into this business, which is beautiful. So let's chat a little bit about what Feng Shui is, if anyone doesn't know what that is, and how can they bring it into their elementals, into their lives, into like their belongings, into their beings, into where they live, everything around them.
Yes. So contrary to popular belief, well, there's 2 different types of Feng Shui. There's Western Feng Shui and then the traditional classical Feng Shui. I practice classical Feng Shui, the 5,000-year-old, written in ancient texts. A lot of it isn't translated to English yet. So I practice that. What, contrary to popular belief, it isn't about interior design. It is, again, your Feng Shui is how your environment affects you. So think about if you live in a high-rise in New York City, that feels very different than living in a cabin in Nebraska, right? Your environment affects you. And so Feng Shui is about using the energy that it comes to your space. So the way that my consults start is direction, time, and the year the home or the space was built. So it's very custom, the Feng Shui, the adjustments, the colors, the positioning you make based on your home. Now, Western Feng Shui is also known as BTB Feng Shui. And that's where you Google it and you see the grid, that tic-tac-toe grid, and each square is a different color. And I think north is career, southwest is relationships. And that's the Feng Shui where it's very do-it-yourself. And it's what I started with. It's based on, I believe that it works so well for people because it uses law of intention and law of attraction so much. I'm putting 2 end tables by my bed to attract a relationship. That is my intention. I'm putting a water feature by my front door to attract money. That is my intention. But then you have plenty of people that say, Feng Shui doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Well, that's because Western Feng Shui isn't custom to your space, right? And so that's why I see a lot of success and sustainable success, long-term success with classical Feng Shui, because we are looking at energy as it shifts, as the years change, the energy, we see what energy comes to that year. We see based on the year your space was built, your home was built, what energy is coming in that front door. So the Western Feng Shui is a good place to start. It's very do-it-yourself, like I said, but if you have some big changes you want to make and you want to really see shifts and drastic, fast shifts, classical Feng Shui and working with a consultant is the way to go. So to answer your question, what is it? Feng Shui is the study of how your environment affects you. It's not interior design.
I love that. And like I've walked into houses that were like beautifully feng shuied and just my energy automatically shifted just being in that space. And it's so powerful. It's so important as well. And just like this beautiful calming effect came over me right away. And I'm like, oh, this place was feng shuied. So
Yeah.
how do we realize like that energy shift? Like we move things around in order to shift the energy. Can you give simple examples of someone that's living in a 1-bedroom apartment, how they could simply feng shui their place?
Yeah. So without knowing, again, without knowing the actual energy that's present, the simple ways that are just good rules of thumb is you want to, and actually this is a first tip. This is a tip I was going to share at the end. We'll share it now. The first tip is the power position. Think about where you're working, especially a studio apartment. The whole room is one room, right? Think about power position where you're working. Kings and queens, their thrones are facing the door. Their thrones, people come to them. So when you're working at your desk, you want to be in the power position. You want the money to come to you. You want the people to come to you. That can be in a studio apartment or in your office. You don't ever want your back to the door. Think about if your back is to the door or back is to, well, to the door or just to, in a studio apartment, the majority of the room, your back is to money. We want to just welcome it with open arms, right? So power position for the desk. And then in other areas, your couch in general too, where your main door is a studio apartment, you want your couch, you kind of want all of your furniture, again, to be facing the door, or at least like kind of turned to the door. You don't really want anybody sitting with their back to the door. Picture energy as if it was a big bucket of water and you pour it in your front door. You want that water to flow everywhere evenly throughout. That's the energy flowing through your home. So when you when you pour that in your front door, for people who have a wall right in front of their front door, right? There's certain things we do, like put a mirror so it bounces around. We don't want to pour in the water and have a couch blocking the energy from, flowing through the rest of it. So facing the doors and kind of just when you are in your home and at your desk, think like, and same with beds. Is your bed on a wall? Is it solid on a wall? Ideally not sharing with the door. You'd like the door to be in front of you and facing. So always in that power position.
I love that tip. I'm from Chicago, so I've always sit my back like I need to see the door because I don't want to get shot. but I love how you're like,
I mean,
oh,
that's fair, yeah.
It is, yeah. Kings and queens sit on like they're facing the throne, like towards the door. I was like, I love that. That makes so much sense and a lot better than telling people I don't want to get shot.
Well, you don't want the Vikings to come with their swords, we don't have to, we don't deal with that anymore, but
thank goodness. So can you talk a little bit about bringing the natural elements of the earth into feng shui, working with water elements, fire elements, and bringing that into your space?
Ooh, sure. Okay. So good question. Everybody, based on their birthday or birth year, has a personal mingua, a personal energy number. So for example, I'm an 8 based on my year of birth. I'm an 8, which 8 symbolizes earth. There is an elemental cycle. Fire helps earth, earth helps metal, metal helps water, water helps wood, wood helps fire, and it goes on. Anybody in Chinese metaphysics uses that cycle. Acupuncturists balance out that cycle. Feng Shui does as well. So being an earth element, fire helps me. And wood actually controls me. So for my personal energy, plants are not ideal, especially for right now. The money energy is 8 until 2024. And so where we welcome in energy, we don't want plants because it kind of irritates that energy. Plants kind of irritate my energy because wood controls earth. So then another really big one, everybody in this world of law of attraction and manifesting typically loves crystals. We all kind of have this affinity for the beautiful crystals. People with a Mingwa 6 are metal and crystals are metal. So they can have crystals in their bedroom and that's good. There's certain elements that if you're wondering why you're not sleeping well, you might have a lot of crystals in your bedroom and it might not be great. So for for when we're feng shuiing, we look at how to have a balance of all that. And again, when we have the floor plan and those numbers from my calculation overlay on the floor plan, they each represent an element. They each represent a shape and a color. And what we do is we say, okay, we want to help this money energy so we can put some fire here. Right now, like I said, earth is the money energy. So we like candles and we like rock salt lamps in wherever your money energy is coming in. And we just look through how can we help this? Maybe this one energy is a little bit irritating. There is an energy, it's 3 right now, and 3 is wood, and it's a little bit anxious and anxiety ridden. So there's things we do to put that out and suppress that. And so it is all about balancing the elements, whether it's colors with colors and shapes in your space. But an easy way to look at how you can balance your home for you is in my Instagram. Actually, there's a link to get your personal mingua. So you just click on that link, and I've just made a big chart of like 1950 birthdays to like 2000 now, whatever, we're in 2021. And you can just look at your column, male or female, and you just look at there and it'll tell you what your personal mingua is. And then you get a book, and the book, it's just like a little PDF, and it tells you, you are earth, you are metal, you are fire, and it tells you your lucky directions, and it tells you what elements like you and help you. So that's an easy way to use that if you don't do like, full feng shui in depth.
I love that. I love that it's so simple, and you can just go out, take a little quiz or whatever, and it's on a little chart, and you can figure it out and then start feng shuiing their places right now. Let's talk a little bit about law of attraction, because I talk a lot about law of attraction. I'm into the law of attraction. I love it. And then I preach a lot that, yes, your environment definitely has a state of how you are going to manifest things. If you're the person that has 10,000 unread emails on your phone, on the little app on your phone, that is your environment. That needs to be cleaned up before you attract things in. So tell me more about how we bring feng shui into the law of attraction, how we work with it, and how we can better understand that whole space element.
Well, so if your external is a direct reflection of what's going on internally, right? That's what we talk about in manifesting. Look at what's going on. Oftentimes when I'm helping people in their homes, I can just look at the home and I can know a little bit of where, like before they even start telling me what their problems are, I can kind of tell, because there's certain people, their way of coping is having piles everywhere. They have to-do piles everywhere. It might be organized piles, but they're overwhelmed. They got piles everywhere. And every day when they wake up and they walk through that door, they see all these piles. How can you not feel stressed? How can you not be reminded of all the things you have to do if you have piles and piles and piles? Then I have the other people who, they're not even hiding it. There is stuff everywhere, and there is mismatched chairs and couches and toys are everywhere, and that's okay. Again, the beautiful thing about classical feng shui is when we see what energy comes in where, it helps you kind of prioritize. So maybe you are like, I am so overwhelmed, I wouldn't even know where to start to clean up. Well, certainly if a classical feng shui consultant came to your home or just talked to you and said, your money energy is coming in the west, that's your priority. Clean up the west. I bet that fire would be lit under your butt and you'd be cleaning it up. Clutter is often synonymous with feng shui. It is not technically written in the ancient texts that are 5,000 years old that you should declutter, right? I don't think they had clutter back then, but it's just an obvious thing now. Like, such an easy thing to do is to organize your space. It will literally, again, your external is a reflection of your internal. If your external is organized, and even if you have file folders and your piles are in your file folders, it is organized, your brain will have less clutter, right? And you will be able to manifest quicker with a little bit more intention because you're not distracted by
those 10,000 emails.
Yeah, and the emails, I know before Chinese New Year, which was in February, I think February 13th this year, I said, modern tip, go through your emails and delete them all. Like, you're never going to get back to that person you said you're going to get lunch with. You don't care. Get rid of that. Is energy sitting there. Get rid of the energy. So yes, even though it's not like the classic again, written in the ancient texts, it is important to get rid of all those pending emails that just don't matter.
They don't. I love that. I love those tips.
And same with like the clothes and things you're just not going to get to. Like when Marie Kondo was such a big deal recently, right? Does it spark you joy? Look at the magazine that you've been holding on to or the book you're holding on to. What energy is it holding? Did you get it from an ex-boyfriend and you don't want, like, you're not actually going to read it? Get rid of it. It's holding on to energy. Same with those emails. Like, think about the energy that all of these things in your space are holding. If they're tense, if they're anxiety inducing, get rid of them.
I love that, because yeah, everything does have energy, and sometimes we forget that. We forget that these objects actually do hold so much energy, and they have such a big impact on our environment, our daily lives, and how we think as well. Actually, we just moved to Florida, so before we moved, I cleaned everything out and Marie Kondoed everything. I'm like, does this spark me joy? Nope, toss it. It was such an easy move. It was great, fantastic. So you shared a little bit with me about the cosmic Trinity. Can you share with the audience what that is and how that goes about into Feng Shui?
Yes, your audience in particular is going to love this. So, because it's kind of advanced, but I know that they're going to understand it because you talk to them so much about manifesting and all that. So the cosmic Trinity is this idea that we have control, a sense of control over 2/3 of our life. The first, picture a triangle here and picture a circle at the top that says heaven luck. Heaven luck is like grace. It is God, the universe, whatever you believe in, their ultimate plan, like destiny. And like just luck in general, like what's supposed to happen to your life, right? But then we have in this circle over here, man luck. Man luck is our choices, our actions, what we decide to do. We can decide to do the work and apply for the job. We can decide to go on the dates, or we cannot. And that will decide, this path that we start to go down. So, and then the third part of this triangle is earth luck, which is Feng Shui. It's our environment. There are, I think, I heard somebody was saying this, that there's like a baby born every 4 seconds or every 4 minutes. And so if you think about it, astrology and all this is so much based on when and where we're born. Well, if there's that many of the same baby, there's so many people have similar astrology, right? But they're not all born in the exact same place. So like Jeff Bezos, there's a few of them out there, but some are born in Africa, some are born in Russia, some are born in the US. And depending on your environment and the things you have access to determines where you can help influence or deter where you're going, right? So I believe that with our man luck and with our earth luck, if we optimize both of those, our emotional fitness, our positive thinking, our manifesting, our taking action, and then we also optimize our Feng Shui, when the two of those are combined, you get to your dream life so freaking fast. Because everything's aligned. It helps you are in flow, and your energy that's helping you move forward is in flow. So if you have two of those, and then, we're not God. So that third one up here, there's some things that give us a little bit of insight, like astrology and Bazi, which is Chinese astrology, gives us a little bit of insight on what year's going to be harder than another year. But if we can maximize these two, how great. We have so much more control than we think about our destiny.
Yes,
so that's the cosmic Trinity.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for sharing. Do you have any last minute tips and tricks on how people could bring Feng Shui into their daily lives?
Okay, so we talked about the power positions in when you're seated, when you're sitting. I will say I am all for vision boards. I am all to help with that, right? So if we in our Feng Shui with the earth luck, we're sitting in power position. To help that manifesting as well, to help stay in that mindset, put your vision board up by your desk. I personally went on Fiverr and had somebody Photoshop my head on some magazines and Architectural Digest, and it said best Feng Shui consultant, I am all for making it as real as possible. So having that by your desk, right, is very helpful. Then the bedroom, here's some good bedroom things. Tip number 2. Again, you want your head on a solid wall. Ideally, your headboard is solid. We don't want storage up and around the head. We don't want storage under the bed. Keep it clear. You want energy flowing all around you when you sleep to rejuvenate you. And then mirrors in the bedroom. The easy answer is just to say no. But if you have one that you don't want to get rid of, make sure when you're laying in bed, the bed's not reflecting you. You don't want to see your reflection while you're sleeping, because mirrors stir up energy. So if you're not sleeping well, I see some of the biggest results from that is just removing the mirror from the bedroom. People sleep much better. Stirs up. And then the last tip I will give people is look at your front door. Again, if our front door is the mouth of chi, where that big bucket of water and energy is flowing in, think of being a king and a queen as well. You're sitting in the power position, but what does your front door look like? What is the front door of this palace? Is it clean? Is it organized? Are you proud of it? When you walk in, are you so happy to be home? That influences that mindset again, right? And it's kind of like a cycle. If you don't like what you're walking into, your headspace isn't going to be good. Your headspace is going to be happier when it's free. So look at your front door. If you can't declutter your whole house and you just don't want to, at least take a look at the front door. Does it look happy, healthy, clean? And that will welcome in all of the positive chi passing by.
Oh, I love that. I think everyone's going to walk away with so many golden nuggets and start rearranging things all over their house, making sure everything is positioned in the right way. So
Yes.
Where can people find you? Where can they book consultations with you? Where can they know more about you and what you do?
The best place to start is Instagram, especially if you want to know your personal mingwa. So go to my Instagram, follow on there, and then in that link, the very first thing says, tell me my personal mingwa, or I think I said personal energy number. Click that button and you can get all the fun info. And then in that link as well is my website. We can talk about consults, or you can just DM me. If Facebook, I know we're on Facebook. If Facebook is your medium of choice, then you can just message me on Facebook. Easy. There's a link somewhere on Facebook, wherever those links go.
And I'll be linking to all of this at the end as well. Thank you
Perfect.
so much, Jeanette. That was beautiful. I think, again, everyone's going to just want to rearrange their house. I want to rearrange my place already. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. It was so much fun having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Register for the free 5-day Rebel Entrepreneur Retreat, where you will learn the step-by-step roadmap to living your life full of abundance and purpose. For the badass spiritual entrepreneur that is ready to step into limitless abundance and consistently bring in 10, 20, 30K months. To register, go to rebelentrepreneurretreat.com.